Hello, everyone. Welcome to TV Literate, the podcast that unapologetically enjoys trashy TV. I'm Gillian.
And I'm Megan.
It's September.
It is. Holy shit. It's like fall. I mean, I know it's not technically
It's not
fall
quite,
yet,
but
it's
it felt
fall.
like fall today. I don't know
It
if you've been
did.
outside, but like, oh, that little breeze.
I know. I was outside last night with the dogs too, and I was like, ooh, I can feel it in the air. It's coming for us, and I'm so ready.
So ready. I just want to stop sweating for like a month.
I know, same here. But thankfully, as you can see, I got my first since COVID started haircut. And so I feel a lot lighter and my neck is a lot cooler. So
yeah,
that is a plus, at least. We're going in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get a new do for like all the fall festivities that you're going to have inside your house.
Exactly. In my house alone with just me and my husband.
Yeah. You got to be comfy though.
Yeah, exactly. So, Gillian, what have you been watching lately?
Oh my god. So I've gotten really back into TV this week, and I don't know why or what did it to me, but I was just like in a TV mood. I was like, podcasts? No. Movies? Maybe, but mostly TV. So we finished up Ted Lasso, which was really good. I definitely recommend it, even if you don't like sports ball.
Okay, good, because I do not. So I was wondering if I would at all be interested in it.
Yeah, no, most of it's just like how Ted Lasso doesn't understand the sport that he's coaching, so you also don't need to understand the sport he's coaching. So
That's good. That's good because I won't.
And it's very sweet and wholesome and like, oh, look, people can just be nice to be nice.
Wow,
I don't know.
what a new concept. It doesn't feel real right now.
Then we watched everything that's been released so far of Nine Perfect Strangers, which is Leanne Moriarty mystery wellness retreat, which is great. Oh my god.
Yeah, I really want to watch it. I have the book and I wanted to read the book first, but I've been reading so slow that I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. I might just watch the show. Yeah. But either way, I will watch it soon because I want to watch it. And I know Kyler would probably want to watch it too. So it'd be a good show for both of us.
It's such a weird show because it's like, oh, this is really relatable. But then it just like everything just like turns into the weird.
So, I love that though. That's like a recipe for perfection, honestly. A little bit of weird.
Yeah. And then my trash that I have watched this week. I'm so ashamed of myself. I did it. I talked about it last week because I saw it and we made fun of it, and then I turned it on and I watched Naked and Afraid of Love.
I've never seen any Naked and Afraid before in my whole life.
I don't really like the regular Naked and Afraid that much because like once you see like a couple episodes, you're just like, okay, so they're naked and like bugs bite them in the coochies and they're afraid and
like
whatever.
How different can they be?
Yeah, exactly. And I was just kind of like, meh. And like all the people who would go on the Naked and Afraid show were like, oh, I'm an experienced outdoorsman and I know how to like make a house out of one cow or something.
It's like, that's not the people I want to see on this show.
Exactly. So Naked and Afraid of Love did that where it's like basically two people as like a couple got dropped off in few different places, and then they all finally found their ways to each other to then start the really like big mingling. But like there are people in there who've never been camping. There's people who are like really good at water but really bad at land. Like, oh my god, it's so much. But yeah, Discovery Plus if you want to have just like a really brainless Naked and Afraid time where you wonder how much money the blurry man editor gets for all of the coochies and the hoochies sticking out.
Yeah, that's got to be a lot of work for one person to do. That's like the whole, like they're constantly naked. Isn't that the whole point of the show?
Yeah, and they like squat down in front of the camera and stuff. Like people are just like over it by like day 2. They're like, I'm hot, I'm tired, I'm hungry. I don't care that I'm naked. I'm just flinging it around.
Yeah. Wow, that's a lot. But it sounds cool. That one sounds definitely more like something I would enjoy than like the regular Naked and Afraid.
Yeah, much more like interpersonal drama versus just being attacked by mosquitoes and red ants.
Yeah, no, that's the shit I want. Like a little bit of both, please.
Yeah. I want everyone to be afraid of the red ants together.
Right. Oh god, I had a horrible red ant experience when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And I was at a rest stop in like Kentucky, I think. And I stood under a tree and I didn't know it, but I stood on a red ant farm thing,
Yeah,
mound, hill, and they all climbed up my knees, and it was awful. And there was like a doctor there, thankfully, that like had ointment that he could help me, that I wasn't like dying, but it was awful. So
horse paste,
yeah, bad. Red
Yeah,
ants are bad.
I've only ever really had red ant experiences in gas stations too. Like, you step over
Yeah,
the curb or something, and they're all there because the gas
yeah.
stations, I guess, are like, fuck, we don't care.
Yeah, they're just fucking hanging out. That's where they get their their people. That's where they
Yeah,
get their prey.
that's where they get their prey.
Fuck
Um,
them.
fuck them. I hate red ants. And also,
Same.
I would not do well on Naked and Afraid of Love. I could do like Dressed and Afraid of Love, but man, I could not deal with like ants in my butthole.
Wow, me either. But my first thought was, oh yeah, I definitely couldn't, because where would I put my insulin pump?
Yeah. My real first fear was I would die of skin cancer.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I need my two personal items are just sunblock and more sunblock because I'd be dead
Right.
by day 2.
God, yeah. No thanks. Yeah, I'm not cut out for that kind of thing, but
Mm-mm.
I'm glad there are some people that are, I guess, that can entertain us.
Yeah, exactly. And just be really weird in the jungle. So, what have you been watching?
I have also watched kind of a lot of TV this week.
Hell yeah.
I always love it when I actually like have something to talk about, because I hate it when I'm just like, oh yeah, I've just been rewatching Degrassi. Like, okay,
I've just been watching
cool.
True Blood.
Get over it. But I've actually watched a couple of new things. So I don't know how we started watching this. I think Kyler just put it on and we just kind of got into it. It's called The Chair, and it's on Netflix.
Okay. Yep.
And it has Sandra Oh is the lead, and she is the first woman of color chair of an English department at a college.
Yeah.
And it's like a whole clusterfuck, and it's like a comedy, but then it also has like some obvious like social commentary and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's only like 6 episodes, and they're only 30 minutes each, so it's like you could watch it in one day. But it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but we have heard from other people who work in academia that it hits a little too close to home. So
yeah, I could
we
definitely
haven't
see
put
that.
it in the August rotation since work has been so stressful.
That is fair. Yeah, I wouldn't probably recommend it for you right now. But as somebody who, like, I only worked in, like, public libraries, so I'm not as scarred with, like, academia. So it was mostly just, like, entertaining for me. But I recommend it. It was good. And the other thing I've been watching is very different, a completely different note. And it is the National Geographic 9/11 documentary series that has been released.
Okay.
It's called 9/11 One Day in America, I think. And holy shit. Okay, so 9/11.
Okay, we're getting into this now. It is.
Like, I just feel like, as somebody, like, I was 9 when 9/11 happened. I was a kid. I just feel so desensitized to it all. Not just 9/11. I feel like mass casualties events in general, but 9/11 in particular. Like, we've seen it over and over again. Not that it's not horrifying. It is. Yeah. But like, but this documentary was probably like the most, I've never felt so like fucked up about 9/11 after watching this. Like, it really goes in depth. Like, the whole premise of it is telling all of these survivor stories like throughout the day. It literally just follows the day. It doesn't go into like the ramifications of 9/11. It's just the day. And some of it's really, really disturbing. So I definitely recommend it, but like with the caveat that like
it's rough.
It goes
it's
there.
A rough ride.
It's rough, but it's really, really good. And like I said, it's all like firsthand survivor experience. It's not like experts or whatever. It's people who were there and experienced it. So it feels very real.
Yeah.
And it was fucked up. And there's a lot of footage like of inside the building that I had never seen before, that has never been released before. So yeah. Anyway, recommend it, but it's fucked up.
Yeah. I watched the 2002 one documentary about it that's just called 9/11, but like 2 or 3 years ago, because I was like, I'm feeling desensitized to this kind of like big thing, like you were saying. And the 9/11 documentary from 2002, the filmmaker was there,
Mm-hmm.
and they had like footage of like stuff outside and everything, but then they also compiled everybody else's like phone footage and stuff of things
Mm-hmm.
happening, and there's no like voiceover or anything. It's just like an hour and a half of just like what was happening minute by
Yeah.
minute. And holy shit,
Yeah.
by the end of it I was like, okay, cool. I got it again. I got it again. I know.
I get it. Yeah.
Yep. I'm back to having feelings.
I feel like it was a good reminder for me of like just the gravity of the situation,
Mhm.
because it's just 9/11 is just such a like, it's a thing that happened in our lives, but it doesn't, it's, I don't even know, it doesn't feel real, doesn't feel like,
Yeah. I think
I
because,
don't even
we
know.
were young. You were 9, I was 11.
Right.
And, I had
9/11. Oh
already
my
been,
god.
oh my God, we're 9/11. The truth comes out. Um, and I don't know, I think I'd already been desensitized because I grew up near Columbine, and
Yeah.
that seemed real big, and that was like 2 years before.
Right.
So I think I was just like this little, like, small traumatized child already, and I was just like, this is fucked up. All right, glad I get to go
Yeah.
home early from school because I feel weird.
Yeah. No, I like, as a 9-year-old, I like got it, but I didn't get it at all. Like, I
Hmm.
understood like something big was happening, but I didn't understand how many people had died. I didn't understand how many people were affected by it, not just the people who had died, but then also like what it meant. It's like there's just so much to it, and it's like it's hard as a kid to get that.
Yeah. I mean, shit, this 9/11 will be the
20th.
the 20th 9/11, but also the first 9/11 that we're not at war with Afghanistan,
Yeah.
which is pretty fucking weird feeling.
Fucking crazy. Yeah, it's just weird. It's just a weird thing. And then like I don't even know. It's like crazy to think now, because I think I always thought that 9/11 would be like the biggest thing that happened in my life, but then like wow,
Nope.
2020, like COVID, which like has affected the whole world.
Yeah.
And then that, I think that also like I remember back in like December and January when like the death tolls were at what, like 4,000 a day, and,
Yeah.
they're
One
like, oh yeah,
9/11
that's,
a day.
yeah. And then so it doesn't, that in and of itself I think made me think, oh yeah, 9/11, like it sucked, but like, oh, but COVID's awful. But I think that watching like this documentary really like helped me to be like, oh, okay, like
Yeah.
fuck this, and not just like the people that had died, but like the people who were there and who were affected by it, and the people who are like going to suffer long-term health effects because of the
Hmm.
debris, and like people who are most certainly going to get cancer because they were stuck in the cloud. Like,
Hmm.
anyway, it
I
was,
know.
I think it was a good thing for me to watch. It put things better into perspective for me personally.
Yeah. Well, and we did just recently hit a 9/11 worth of deaths in West Virginia from Rona.
Yep. Yeah, which I mean, West Virginia is not a very populated state, so
Nope. It's a big
god,
deal. Fuck it.
what a world we live in.
Ugh. I know. Who would have thought that 9/11 would be like not the biggest event of our lifetimes?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just crazy to think about that. Because, yeah, I couldn't imagine anything that before 2020, I couldn't imagine anything that big happening again that had like that big of a change
Yeah.
in our world. But it's like, nope. Like,
Yeah.
damn. I don't
I
even
mean,
know.
we're still paying fucking luggage fees and shit from 9/11. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a lot, and it really
It
got
is.
grappled onto by political parties.
Yeah, it's been great. Things are going great.
Yeah. I would also like to, before we get started on the actual meat of the show, say,
Yeah.
fuck the GOP.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just putting that out there.
Mm-hmm.
You're all my body, my choice about your vaccines, but not about actually my body, my choice.
Right. Yeah, they care about the baby when it's inside the mom, but not when it's born. Then it could be exposed to COVID and die. Who fucking cares?
And they're all like, oh man, that baby could have cured cancer. And you're like, yeah, that mom could have cured cancer too if she didn't have to drop out of school because she's
Yep.
pregnant. So
Yep.
go fuck
Yep.
yourselves.
God,
Abortion is a
it's
personal choice. Everybody else can
exactly.
stay the fuck out of it.
Yeah, just because you personally wouldn't get an abortion doesn't mean it's wrong for other people too. And so, anyway, that was some heavy shit. We can let's stop talking about 9/11 and abortions, and let's just get into talking shit about fundies,
Hell yeah.
because we got some shit to talk about today.
We got so much shit, and I do not know what I would do without you. Megan.
Great segue, Gillian, because that is of course it is. That is the episode title for the first episode we're covering this episode because, God, they're just so bad. We say it every time, but it's just remarkable how much worse they keep getting.
Uh-huh. And this one really gets worse for me because this is actually something that someone wrote in the show as like a real affirmation of affection with some donuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it wasn't even like for like a little cute Valentine card, which like, sure, whatever. No. So, Tori and Bobby are getting ready to celebrate like their first anniversary of like knowing each other, being together kind of, but they're not courting, so it's kind of weird, you know.
Yeah, I don't really understand the Bates courtship stuff because they still call each other boyfriend and girlfriend, but they're not courting. Right. Which I guess is healthier, like that they're boyfriend, girlfriend, and then they can move on to another step.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely better to have like at least a little bit of time for them to get to know each other, even if it is a little bit gray in terms of what they are. But yeah, I don't really get it either. Like, what's the point? It's just weird to me.
Yeah, like I guess it's just kind of like doing a promise ring for a relationship or whatever. Like, this is my intention. This is the way I want to go with you, I guess, which is better than, hey, I just met you.
Right, or like going steady, which I feel like is an old-fashioned thing that like used to happen, or at least it does in old-fashioned TV shows and stuff. So yeah, I don't know, I wasn't there, but but that's I guess kind of like the same type of thing, like a pre-engagement thing. But it just seems weird, and it's just like especially weird because that all is controlled by whatever the dad thinks, right? So the family is planning a like family vacation to Pensacola, Florida, and I guess is that where Bobby lives? I know he lives in Florida.
Yeah, it's where he goes to school. He goes to Pensacola for school, and he lived somewhere fucking else, but it's Florida, so there's only so many places I know.
Exactly. So obviously they're planning on seeing Bobby there, and I almost called her Carlin. Tori fully expects like this is when he's gonna ask.
So we're going to get out of the situationship and get into a courtship.
Yes, exactly. How exciting.
So exciting at like 16 years old. I don't know how old she actually is in this. 18?
Well, she's in college, so she's at least 18, you'd think. Yeah, I would say, I don't know.
They just all look like they're 16.
They do, and and they're all very sheltered, so it's hard to tell.
She was born in 1995.
Okay, and this was like, okay, so she was like...
They got married in 2017.
Okay, so this was like, she was like 20, 21 in this. Okay.
I mean, that's fine, but you're still a baby child.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's still very young to get married.
Yes.
But whatever. Anyway, so Kelly calls Bobby on the phone to discuss their plans for the trip. And this is where we learned that Bobby had never heard of courtship before he started, like, was interested in Tori, which can you imagine, like, not being raised with this and just, like, going along with it?
I don't know. Yeah, I thought about that this whole episode. I was like, this dude, man. Like, I guess because it's similar enough to, like, asking for a person's dad to give their hand in marriage that maybe it's not that weird to just, like, regular Christians. But I guess still fucking weird.
Very weird. You'd think that, I don't know, maybe he just really likes Tori, but you'd think that would be like a big red flag because it certainly would be for me.
Yeah, if they were like, no, you've got to ask my dad if you can date me, I'd be like, no, I don't.
Yeah, not even if you could marry me, which is still weird to me, but like if you can date me, if I'm allowed to see you.
Yeah. And we're still not allowed to kiss.
Yeah, exactly. Like, ooh, gross.
Do you think Bobby is going to be the Jeremy of the Bates family?
I don't know. He doesn't seem that annoying. He seems like a more normal than Jeremy. Like, he just seems like a normal dude.
That's fair.
I haven't had any alarm bells ring.
Okay. I was just going for, like, less fundy upbringing.
Yeah, that is true.
So he might get weird.
From that angle, yeah, and he could get weird. Like, you never know. Marriage changes people.
Yeah. Well, being around really, really self-assured, self-righteous men really changes stuff for you too.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So we'll see, but I don't know. so far, the only person on this show comparable to Jeremy to me is Lawson.
Yeah.
So,
and he really does kick it up.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, Bobby is looking forward to entering a courtship with Tori. Like we said, he's like hoping to solidify things a little bit and make their relationship seem a little bit more serious, which will be good.
Get Gil's approval.
Yeah.
Nah.
Wow.
But Bobby's parents are also coming out to meet them.
Mm-hmm.
All of them, because Tori's met his parents apparently quite a few times, but the Bates parents haven't met the Smith parents, which his name is Bob Smith.
Yeah, like, can you get a more like
Milk
John Doe ass
yeah.
name? Yeah.
Like, you could never look up Bobby Smith in the phone book because there's like 500 Robert or Bob Smiths, I'm sure.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah, that's like
stealth.
Yeah. So, some of the older kids go over to, I guess, the house that they're staying in Pensacola to help Bobby kind of decorate because he wants to set the scene for the weekend and really make it known that he's not trying to hide the fact that he's going to ask this question, which I think is probably good because like it's clear that it's going to happen. Yeah. But
it's also all really corny.
Oh, yeah, it's corny as shit. Like, but whatever. I guess some people like that. But yeah, they do balloons and little like messages and all kinds of shit.
One of them said, "In the courtroom, you're guilty of stealing my heart."
Okay.
And he wanted to recreate the weekend they met. So there was like rose petals and an upside down umbrella. I don't really know what event that is, but
the rose petal rain. You don't know about it?
Yeah, that you catch with your umbrella.
Exactly.
That's what happens in Florida. I don't know. But then they also had the donuts with "I do not know what I would do without you."
Right. Yeah, Tori comes in and sees everything and is very excited, and she's so in love with young Bob Smith.
Robert.
So yeah, it ends with him asking her to a sunset dinner the next day, which is a hint for things to come.
Yeah. He's gonna have to like put on a show for engagement if this is what you're just doing for courtship.
For real. Yeah. Like I think we talked about this when Nathan was asking Ashley to court, and it's like, at least in this situation, Tori knows that it's just a courtship that he's gonna be after and not a proposal. But like, yeah, it's like, damn guys, like, scale back a little bit.
Yeah,
take her to a date or something and ask her nicely. And
just do this whole decoration thing, and at the end be like, "Would you like to go steady with me?" Or however you ask her in a courtship. Like, this is the thing where it's like, "Oh, look, I did this cute little room design for you. Cool, should we be boyfriend, girlfriend?" That's like asking to the prom.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's a little over the top, for sure. So the first family activity of the trip is putt-putt, which is a classic family activity at the beach. Bobby was giving Tori some like lessons on how to hold, and it was getting pretty awkward. I loved it when he told her to straddle evenly, which, wow.
And then he said the phrase, "Don't break your elbows," because he was trying to tell her to straighten her elbows, and that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Like, I don't understand.
Don't break your elbows.
Yeah, I was like, is this breaking my elbows? Like, have I misunderstood a lot of my human life?
Yeah, you break your elbow every time you bend it. Did you not know that? New fracture every time.
Crunch. Doing those crunches. And these are really crunches, right? The bicep curls to crunch your elbow.
I think so.
Yeah. Fitness.
I don't know.
Fitness with Gillian and Megan. Don't break your elbows.
Don't break your elbows. Did you have anything else to say about putt-putt? It was pretty short.
Yeah, it was pretty short. It was fine. They did mention at one point during this, I think, that they're like, originally we had the 6-inch rule for courting where you couldn't be within 6 inches of each other, but Tori and Bobby definitely don't follow that.
Ew.
Mm-hmm.
Also, gross. 6 inches of each other? Like, I hate that.
Yeah. I hate it too. I just hate all the like weird controlling aspects of fundamentalism, but that's
it's bad.
We're getting
It's
down
bad.
to the little bones of it now.
Yeah, for real. So the next day, the family goes on a dolphin cruise, and Alyssa and John and Allie get to join them for this since they also live in Florida, which was nice.
So I'm sure Alyssa's real excited to be pregnant on a boat.
Oh God, I would not be doing good if I were her.
I don't think she was doing great.
Yeah, there's lots of screaming going on. There's lots of dolphins, and every time they see a dolphin, everyone screams, and it's a lot.
Yep. Tori and Bobby were in the back little corner of the boat, and one of the smaller girls came up and was like, leave a little room for the Holy Spirit. Because apparently Tori used to be the chaperone boss.
Yeah, that's what Gil and Kelly were saying, that she's getting a taste of her own medicine, because she used to always be the like tattletale, like, oh, they're standing too close to each other. But yeah, now she doesn't seem to be minding, you know, breaking those rules a little bit, and the other girls are calling her out, which is good.
Yeah, everybody gets what they came for.
I mean, not that I think that those rules should exist, but
yeah, it's fair play. When you're siblings, it's fair play.
Exactly. It's, you know, that's like part of your role as a sibling. Like, you have to be the tattletale, annoying.
Yeah, you gotta bug the shit out of you. You're like your sister and her boyfriend nonstop.
What's the point?
I didn't even have siblings, and I know that's a rule.
Yeah, come on. It's just common sense. It's human nature.
Yeah.
And then during this cruise, Bobby kind of takes the parents to the side and gives them the lowdown on his plan for dinner, which is when he's planning to ask her the big question.
The big question. Pop the question.
But not that question.
No.
So then next up, Bobby lined up some parasailing for some of the older kids to do.
This did look fun. I would do this.
It did, yeah. I would do it too, for sure. I'm not a very like daring, adventurous person, but this seems like chill enough for me to be able to do it.
Yeah. I thought it was very funny that they said that it was nice to be 600 feet away from everybody else, because that's how high up in the sky you get, and I can definitely see that.
Yeah, definitely, especially during COVID times. Like, 6 feet is not enough. Let's do 600.
Just tug me along behind the wedding party in a parasail.
Exactly. So Bobby and Tori go up together first, and it's like a beautiful view up there, very like picturesque and scenic and romantic, and Tori's kind of like expecting him to ask the question while he's up in the air. There's lots of tension, but obviously nothing happens.
Yeah, because he said he was going to ask at the sunset dinner on the beach.
Yeah, like that's definitely, like, when he said that when he was setting up the room and he was like, I'm going to take you to the sunset dinner, like, that should have been your clue that it's going to happen at the sunset dinner.
Because, I mean, I get it. Don't plan to do it on, like, parasailing or whatever, because what if someone doesn't like it? Or what if it doesn't happen? Or what if it's a bad experience? You don't want to hinge all of your relationship on an extreme sport.
Exactly, yeah. Something less, like, high stakes, like dinner, sunset dinner.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
So then Carlin and Josie go next, parasailing, and again, there's a lot of screaming.
But then Carlin's like, can I let go? And she just feels the call of the void and, like, fucking ragdolls up there. And I'm like, I get that. I understand that.
Yeah. It looked fun. I want to do it.
It
definitely.
Did. Yeah, the next time we're, like, free from a pandemic, I'm gonna go to, like, Mexico and parasail or something.
Hell yeah, let's do it. So while the kids are parasailing, the parents are kind of helping set up the dinner, and it's not going well because guess what? It's the Bates.
Yeah.
They can't plan for shit.
Yeah. They're like walking down the beach with all this fucking shit. Like, Bobby seems like he doesn't have a very good planning skill either, because he's just like, yeah, I want to make this nice dinner on the beach. And so then they just have to schlep it forever, it feels like, with all of the, like, pillows and tables and chairs and dishes and everything. I don't know. It was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, the I guess the girls are in charge of, like, setting up the area, and the guys are going out to get Outback Steakhouse carry out for dinner. Which, hell yeah.
You a bloomin' onion.
Hell yeah. And as per usual, the Bates, they're all late and they haven't planned out any logistics. So it was very stressful, and it was a, like, big question on if things were going to be set up in time for them to get there before the sun actually sets, because the sun isn't on Bates time, okay?
Nope.
It does its thing.
Got the late Bates, and we got the sun that literally does the same thing every day.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like, it was kind of like it was anticlimactic. After all this sound and fury, they like rolled in and they're like, "Oh, this is nice." They're already basically hid behind the dunes after they set it up. Bobby got her an infinity symbol because they always say forever, like an infinity symbol bracelet. We're gonna be together forever.
Hey, at least it's better than cowboy boots. So
yeah, at least it's something that's like based on their relationship and likes and dislikes.
Right, exactly, and not something she's specifically said she will never get.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I like a cowboy boot, but those things can hurt.
Yeah, hell no. I'm not. No.
And you might get mistaken for a bigot.
Exactly. That's the biggest no for me.
Big risks.
But yeah, after he like asks the question, the parents just materialize from behind the dudes, and they pray together. Of course.
Don't they always? Kelly thinks that Tori and Bobby are the next Kelly, Joe, and Gil. They remind them of themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's scary. I don't know. I hope they don't have 19 kids. They already have 3 though, and it's not been that long.
Yeah, they got married in 2017.
They got married in 2017. They have 3 kids.
Jesus. That's many. That's many kids.
That's a lot.
I don't know. Then everybody's all goofy and feeling weird, and they do a little talking head, and they're like, "Well, what's the next step for your relationship?" And he's like, "Another conversation with Gil, I guess."
Big talk. A big talk with
Gil.
A
large talk.
Large talk. Oh God. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, they seem happy together, so good for them. But
and it was nice that he did some thoughtful stuff both for her and the family. Like, he seems like a legit dude.
Yeah, he seems he seems fine. I don't have any.
Yeah,
like I said, I don't get any Jeremy.
Maybe
he's what?
A Ben.
Yeah. He definitely feels more Ben than Jeremy to me.
Yeah,
Ben is just like a
go with the flow,
harmless,
just vibing
stoner dude.
Yeah.
All right, next episode is called Shake-Ups, Stakes, and Showtime.
They just really have a way with these, because I would have been like, I would have wanted to have everything to have ups, but they went next level on this.
Yeah, they did. They have it all. They have all the tricks memorized. They know what to do.
They're right in the rule book.
So Lawson finally gets a shipment of his CDs before his first show. And this particular version of this CD is special for this Knoxville, I think, show that they're doing, because there's like a bonus track with kids from the Children's Hospital, of course.
But they didn't say anything like how it supports the Children's Hospital. Like, they didn't say like $1 for every purchase goes to the Children's Hospital or anything. Like, I don't know. Feels a little shady.
I would hope and assume that like proceeds are going to it, and if that's the case, then I don't have a problem with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. They didn't explicitly come out and say those things. So
and it didn't say it on the insert. It was just like, this was made to bring awareness to the children of the Tennessee Children's Hospital. And I'm like, give them money.
Yeah.
Give them money.
Right, exactly. Like, if you're going to donate a portion of the proceeds or whatever,
that's
100%.
Chill. Good job, Lawson.
Yeah. But if you're just doing it so more people, like, it seems like that's what's going to happen, and that would maybe persuade more people to buy a CD, like, that ain't cool.
Yep. Anyways, it has a November 10th release date, and it's finally here.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, his album is called What Country Means to Me. Okay.
Why do we care, Lawson?
I was going to say, why would anyone care what country means to this... How old is he? 20-some-year-old hick from Tennessee with no education and nothing, like barely any experiences, because he's very sheltered.
Like, would I buy
why
Willie
do
Nelson's
I care?
What Country Means to Me? I would buy Willie Nelson's one. That I want to know.
Buy. You know who I would buy? I would buy fucking Dolly Parton's.
Yes, Dolly Parton.
That is somebody I want to know what country means to them.
Yeah.
Not Lawson Bates.
Not fucking Lawson Bates. No one cares, Lawson. You haven't made it yet.
So the only other non-Lawson thing, can we talk about this real
Uh-huh.
quick before we get into the other stuff? The only other non-Lawson thing that happens in this episode is Zach and Whitney go on a date night to Ye Old Steakhouse.
It's just the most rural steakhouse name that I could ever come up with, and they just did it. They just named a place Ye Old
Ye Old
Steakhouse.
Steakhouse. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've heard Kyler use the phrase Ye Old Steakhouse, but to refer to like Outback or like Texas Roadhouse.
Oh yeah.
Not not an actual place called Ye Old Steakhouse.
Not opening in downtown Barbersville next year, Ye Old Steakhouse.
I mean,
it could happen.
I wouldn't be surprised.
We already have like Main Street Deli and like
yeah. But this is this very special restaurant to Kelly and Gil because every time Kelly would have a baby, Gil would reward her with a steak dinner from Ye Old Steakhouse.
You get 1 steak per baby to help with the anemia.
1 steak per baby. At least I was gonna ask, like, what if she had twins? She didn't have twins, but if she were like Michelle, would she get 2 steaks that night?
Shit, she should. This whole like Ye Old Steakhouse just got even more depressing to me when Whitney's like, I just never would imagine when I was in high school that I would have to be married and have 2 kids by 23. And she said it in not like a I'm excited that my life is going faster than expected way.
Yeah, she was like, I mean, I love it, but it's like, sure. Yeah, she had to like stop and think about what she said and was like, oh wait, that doesn't sound good. But yeah, it's like, I mean, yeah, that's really young to be married with 2 kids.
Yeah.
And to know that, and the worst part is like that's like the rest of her life is gonna be like that. At least that's what like the fundy lifestyle.
That's the plan,
right? And I can't imagine how stifling that must feel.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like it. I can see like it's fine if you want to start a family and get married that young, I guess, but I don't like it.
I don't like it either, and it's especially disturbing in these situations just because you know that this is the only like lifestyle they've been exposed to. They really weren't given alternatives to consider.
And if she were like, hey, I want to do this thing, the answer would probably be no.
Right, yeah. It's less, I mean, I personally think it's not super smart to get married super young, but like if it's less concerning to me when it's not in this environment of like
it's just
not
like
having
high school
a choice.
Sweethearts who are like, I just can't live without you, and they're like, whatever, that's fine, just that's your own decision. It hasn't been forced on you by a church run by a pedophile.
Right, exactly. Well, and then like those people, like at least they have the option of like divorce is like an acceptable thing to most people these days, but not to fundies. So there's like no escaping it once they get into it. Like at least if you get married at 21 and realize you're not made for each other, you guys can just get divorced, and like it sucks. I'm not saying that's nothing, but like it's possible to have enough. Yeah, right. Yeah. Anyway, it was like very like disturbing.
The whole thing was very like because then they go on and start talking about how Zach's working the day shift now, and that means he gets to have nights with the kids and stuff more. But then they reveal that Whitney never wanted him to be a cop. And so I'm sure this dude just fucking wheedled and was like, I'm gonna do it. I don't care. You're the wife.
Yeah. Which is fucked because, like, it's one thing if, like, you're a cop already and you get married and then the person's like, I don't want you to be a cop. That's not okay. But, like, if you guys are already married or together, like, you should be making these decisions together. Like, they directly impact each other's lives.
Yeah, and, like, even not even getting into, like, the left of center criticisms of policing.
Right.
Being a cop can be a dangerous job.
Yeah.
Especially out with nut burgers in Tennessee. Like, I think that he would get shot or something. And, like, obviously working 3 12s per week and having a totally shitty schedule where you can't help your wife with the day-to-day for multiple days a week. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Yeah, it was very, like, it was supposed to be like a nice romantic date between Zach and Whitney, but it just felt very ominous
into like an accidental therapy session.
Pretty much. But then we go back to Lawson, who is in downtown Knoxville with Carlin, putting up flyers to promote his show. And that's when Lawson asks Carlin to go on tour with him, basically, and at least do the first performance of the Emily Ann's part, because she can no longer be part of the show.
Mm-hmm. Which,
so
in and of itself, I want to know why Emily Ann can't be part of the show when she's like local to Nashville. This is Knoxville, it's not very far. Like, was she just
exactly.
Oh, what happened in this year that made the Bates untouchable to regular country stars?
For real. But yeah, Carlin, you could tell she like doesn't want to do it,
mm-hmm.
but she tentatively agrees, like pending they have a decent rehearsal together and it doesn't sound awful.
Which of course,
which I actually think that I was gonna say which we'll get into this in a second, but I actually think Carlin sounds a lot better than Lawson, just in general.
Yeah.
So I don't think she should be nervous. Like, she's a pretty good singer.
Yeah. I just think it's fucking insane. First of all, they're flyering, and he's asking her this, and it's 2 days until the show.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? Like, that is not okay.
He complains later about, like, how stressful all this stuff is, and I'm like, you could make it less stressful by, like, timing things out to do them on, like, a reasonable schedule.
Right, like, planning things, setting a schedule, or even, like, hiring somebody to help you do that stuff if you can't do it yourself.
Having somebody who you hire for $10 an hour to go out flyering one day, and you pay them $40 and you're done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But again, that would require planning, and that's not possible. So let's just get into the clusterfuck. It's the day of the show.
Yep.
The bass player and the guitar player don't make it in time for sound check, which is not very helpful.
Mm-mm.
Not a great start. But finally, the whole band gets together at one point before the show so they can rehearse a little bit.
90 minutes before showtime, they're rehearsing for the first time.
Right, and this is the first time Carlin's rehearsed with them. So, like, you don't even fully know if Carlin's going to be in this show that's happening in an hour and a half. Okay.
Yeah, no, Lawson just made it so that she basically couldn't say no.
Yeah, pretty much. Fuck him.
Fuck him.
But they rehearse. It goes okay, I suppose. Like I said, I thought Carlin sounded better than Lawson, so she still kind of seems unsure about the whole thing, though, and there's an air of, will she make it on the stage or not? But it's like, we know she's going to do it, because
first of all, this isn't like an actual big show. This is a church show.
Exactly.
She's sung at church before. She's not at the fucking Country Music Awards.
Right, and like almost everyone there is probably like family or family friends, or like people from the children's hospital's family, you know what
people
I mean?
People from IBLP in general, just, you know, they're not going to come up and be like, you sucked. They're going to be like, praise Jesus.
Not like harsh music critics.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not going to get people booing you off the stage.
So the next issue is with the, I guess the Wi-Fi. There was a Wi-Fi issue, and it was causing them not to be able to scan tickets.
Yeah.
And like, it was just a clusterfuck. And so they had to like rescan everyone's tickets, and everyone was getting kind of like pissed off, and it was a whole thing. Yeah,
big long lines at the door. Didn't know who was supposed to be there and who wasn't, which again, I don't think you sold out the whole church. Does it matter?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's not like somebody's not going to have a seat because, like, they brought 2 extra kids that didn't have tickets for or something. I don't know.
Right. Okay, so finally the issue is resolved with the Wi-Fi, and everyone can come in and get seated, and so the show can finally begin. And there's, like, a radio DJ there introducing Lawson, and, yeah, he comes on stage, he gets started. I don't know, I just feel like his voice is just not...
It's just a normal... fine singing voice. It's not like I want to listen to an album of this.
Exactly. Like somebody who would sing at church.
Yeah.
But not somebody who would like have an album and tour.
Yeah. Yeah, like maybe he's good enough to be like part of like a duo or a trio.
Right, but not by himself as like a solo act. Like he's just not that, like, I'm not trying to be rude, but he's just not
he doesn't have that strong of a voice, and he doesn't have a trained voice, and he doesn't, you know, it's all of these things that like he thinks he's better than he is, and he's just playing churches.
Yeah, he just has a lot of confidence, a little too much.
Yes, which of course he doesn't do very well. Confidence is not well founded.
Yeah, he like starts singing one of his songs and he forgets the lyrics, and instead of just like going on and like like I don't even know, like going along with it, he just like stops the show and he's like, "You know what? I can't believe this is happening, but I just forgot the lyrics."
Yeah, and like for some people that works. Like if Lady Gaga gets off or whatever. Like I've heard this at actual like big concerts where people are like, I messed that up. Haha. That's because people know your songs.
Yeah, and people like know that you're a professional and you do that all the time. Like this is your first performance, like in front of these people.
Just lie. Just
exactly.
Keep singing.
Just go with it.
No one will know.
Vibe with it. It was so bad too because then he starts to sing it again and he still doesn't remember the lyrics. Like he clearly does not know the lyrics to this song
that he wrote. Sir, you gotta practice more.
For real.
They'd be like, practice more than once ever.
I know. They always like rehearse like the day before, and it's like, you guys, the rehearsing is like a long process.
Yeah, you gotta go be a jam band in a garage for a while.
Exactly. But since it was in association with the children's hospital, they had some of the kids come up on stage and sing with them, and everyone was crying, and it was a whole thing,
Yeah.
Which again, I wouldn't have a problem with this if, some of the proceeds of the show and of the concert were going to the children's hospital or some other causes that could help these children, but
who knows?
Who knows?
I don't trust him. I don't trust him as far as I can throw him, and I can't throw him far.
Yeah. So then it's Carlin's time to shine. And thankfully, nobody forgets the lyrics this time.
Nope.
And they seem to do pretty, went pretty well.
I mean, they both aren't great singers, but she's better than him. And
I just think her voice is stronger than his. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was fine. But I do think, I don't even know. Like I talked about, I want to hear the whole song because we didn't hear the whole song, and I want to see if it's awkward that a brother and sister are singing it together.
Yes. Yeah, because it kind of just seems like it might just be about Jesus.
Yeah, if it's just about Jesus, totally okay, whatever.
That's
I can
fine.
see it, but I feel like and there might have been more than one song with Emily Ann, but I feel like I remember hearing them recording one that was about them like being together and breaking up, and that would be weird to sing with your sister.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, the show's over. Lawson goes out and signs autographs and talks with everyone, and
I mean,
Gil and Kelly and everyone are so proud of him.
I don't want to be a jerk because I know there are a lot of people who can't write and aren't literate, and that for like very reasonable reasons. But Lawson, sir, you can barely write your own name. Like when he was trying to sign his name, it was like you're supposed to do like
scribble
of your
make the first letter somewhat legible, and then the rest of it can just be a scribble.
Yeah, it's like L scribble, B scribble, but he's out there like learning his ABCs, and
it was painful.
It was hard to watch.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it's over at least.
It's over.
So it was kind of a mess, but he got through it, I guess.
He did. He made it. Nobody booed him off stage from the church.
I mean, yeah, it was a church, and it was like his family and friends, so you'd hope that wouldn't happen, but...
Yeah, I mean, like 25 of people who attended were directly related to him.
Exactly. Well, probably even more than that, because...
Yeah.
I don't even know.
I'm sure, but I know of like 25.
At least.
Okay.
The next episode is called Sweet Home Spartanburg.
No. There's nothing good about Spartanburg, South Carolina. I'm sorry.
I've never been there, but it doesn't seem that great.
It's just like all of the rest of South Carolina. And I know we dunk on all the states. We dunk on all the states.
Suck in some ways.
Yeah. So we're not specifically singling you out, South Carolina. We live in West Virginia. We know.
We live in West Virginia, okay?
We literally can't do anything but punch up at this point. We're at the bottom. Just we're the trash state. So just know, all of this is coming from a place of West Virginia.
I definitely feel like we can say stuff more than like people from like California or like Washington,
people
like
who
those
are from like big cities and shit. No, you don't
live in West Virginia.
You don't get to criticize us out here in rural Bible hell. but we can criticize each other.
Exactly. So, because it's Kelly's 50th birthday and she didn't know the other party was happening that we talked about last week, she kind of planned a little birthday party for herself in Spartanburg, South Carolina, which is where she's from. And she also wants to kind of take her kids there and show them around and, show them where mom grew up, which is cool.
It's a cute, fun idea that she got together.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So Kelly's sisters, Kim and Kay, are also there to kind of soak it all in and share the experience. And the first thing they do is go to the house that they grew up in, which I cannot fucking believe the owners of this house just allowed. Not just like I think like the old owner of our house has come here before by himself, and Mike Kyler's talked to him and took him somewhere, but like they had like 30 people. It was like a museum exhibition.
Yeah. And like,
no thank you.
A full like, oh, these are all the things that have changed. This is how the house is different. Like, there's so many risks there. You can be like, oh, I hate what you've done with the place.
Yeah,
you've ruined my childhood home.
I would not be comfortable with this. I'm just gonna say it right now.
No, but good on Keely and whoever. Keely and Billy were their names. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're better people than I am, I guess. But I don't know. But yeah, Kelly tells this story about how she used to sit in the tree in her front yard and like spy on people and like tattletale on them, like if she saw somebody kissing, which like that's where all like Tori and all the other girls must have gotten it from.
Oh yeah, big time. I think Kelly Jo is a large influence on these kids more so than like the fucking Duggars. I don't think the parents influence the Duggar children as much. Because
they don't interact with them.
Yeah, they are put in the incubator and then taken by Jana.
Exactly. They are influenced by Jana.
Yes. Yeah, so Kelly was the tattletale, and then one of the little kids in the Talking Heads was like, Mom should have worked for the government. She was a top spy. I don't know, it's so funny.
It was good. It was funny. Let's see. Oh, and so because the family feels guilty about intruding on these people's space, which, yeah, they are repaying them by raking their yard, which is such a Bates thing to do.
Oh, yeah. They should have cut down a tree, too.
Exactly. Kelly says it's a way for her to reminisce on doing it as a kid, but, I mean, I guess when you come, like, with, like, 15 young kids that have a ton of energy, it's like you might as well put them to work if they're going to do it. They're going to be running around anyway. And you got to put them outside because
they're not going to do well in the house. They're going to fuck that house
exactly. And of course, they make a huge leaf pile, and all of them are jumping in, including Kelly and her sisters. And can you imagine jumping into a huge pile of leaves like that in a denim skirt?
No. I can't imagine jumping into a pile of leaves like that, like, at my current age, too. Because, you hit the ground in the leaf pile. I've always found out. Like, there's not enough leaves that, like, keeps you from, like, not eventually hitting the ground with, like, a joint.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it now, and I'm not even 30, and I feel like I'm too old. Like, my body is too old to do that.
Yeah, like, I can do lots of stuff in this 31-year-old body, but I don't want to throw it on the ground. Like, just... Yeah. There's a lot of risk for low reward there for me.
Yeah, that's for like flexible 10-year-olds who can just like roll their body in weird ways and be totally fine.
Who can whack their knee on a fucking cement curb and not regret it for 3 days.
Exactly. And then of course after they jump in the leaf pile, the sisters all gather and pray together.
I know, and I'm so amazed it wasn't Kelly Jo being like, "Why don't we pray?" It was one of the other ones being like, "Let's pray." I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
They're all like that.
I've never prayed with my family. Like, I mean, other than at church, like we've never been like, we've got to pray together.
No, yeah, the only time is like at funerals and stuff. Like, yeah. Okay, so Kelly kind of goes in a little bit more about her background. When she was in 3rd grade, her parents got divorced, and she stayed in South Carolina with her mom, and her sisters moved to Tennessee with her dad.
Which is weird.
That is a weird situation. Why did they split up
the kids?
That is weird. I was wondering, like, was there an issue? Like, did Kelly, did somebody not get along with somebody? Like, what? Yeah. Like, why? Yeah, why would just two?
Was Kelly just too much of a fucking tattletale that she got left behind?
Maybe, I don't know, but yeah, like why wouldn't the girls stay together and like go back and forth or whatever?
Like I could see if like Chip, the only brother of the group, like went with his dad or something, because like it was dudes and chicks. Like that happens infrequently, but frequently enough. But yeah, separating kids out is weird.
Yeah, it was weird. I wanted to know more about that, but she didn't go into detail.
Tell us, Kelly. Tell us your life story.
God, spill the damn tea, Kelly.
Why are you like this?
Next up, they go to Spartanburg High School, which is where Kelly went to school, and she has some of her teachers there, which is kind of cool. Like, I'm kind of surprised that her teachers are still there and that they're like
alive,
willing, and like willing to meet up with her and stuff. But that's cool.
Yeah, it seemed like a cool and fun experience for her and good. I don't know.
I loved how the kids were all like so shocked at how big the high school was, and it looked just like a normal American high school to me. Yeah, like it could be my high school. Like my high school was probably even bigger than that one, but like they were like shocked by how big it was, and it's like, yep, wow, that's what school's like.
Yeah, I know. This whole part just made me like really fucking sad for these kids.
Yes,
because they don't get the experience of like socializing and learning from other kids and stuff. I don't know.
They had Kelly's one of her old science teachers like there, and he brought them to his class, brought all the kids to his classroom, and they're like, yeah, we want the kids to be able to experience what a real classroom is like. And it's like, then why don't you fucking send them to school?
Yeah,
they can learn there.
Yeah.
But they were like all so like, the teacher did a really like a inertia experiment, and the kids were all like so into it and really engaged, and it's like they like loved it, and it is sad that they're not given the opportunity to go to school.
Yeah, because they might learn the devil's work. They might, God forbid, think for themselves.
Did Kelly learn the devil's work at this high school, and that's why she won't let her kids go?
She probably
that's
did.
Why I think it's always so weird to me, like, why did you had a relative, like, you were conservative obviously and Christian, but like you went to regular school, like why can't you give that to your kids too?
Because she wild
kids
child
don't have any
there.
Regular life.
It's because she was a wild child and she can't deal with it, that her kids, God forbid, might also have trauma that they need to work out in high school by being promiscuous or into weed or whatever. I don't know.
Wow. Imagine that, being a human being and making decisions and mistakes and learning from them.
Yeah, instead of just pushing them down forever until finally one day you fucking snap.
Exactly.
Or you just get really into wine.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just is so, I don't know. Like, I understand homeschooling for so many things, but it just makes me so sad that they're just homeschooling them just because they don't want them to be exposed to the real world.
Yeah.
And it.
Oh yeah. I definitely see the benefits of homeschooling for a lot of kids. I'm not like blanket statement downplaying homeschooling. Like, it could be so good and beneficial for kids, but like their reasoning is to shelter their kids, which is not a good reason.
And it's not like they're doing like the normal homeschool thing where it kind of keeps up with different grades and like you have the state testing and whatever. They're doing like the IBLP, like pamphlets that tell you to wear a skirt below your knees or else you're gonna go to fucking hell. Kind of homeschooling.
Exactly. Yeah, that's not the curriculum I want my child to be taught. We head down to Florida and check in with Alyssa and John. Alyssa's nearing the end of her pregnancy. She says she's been pretty sick this pregnancy, and it's been rougher because she also has a 1.5-year-old. Which, yep.
Who'd have thunk it?
But I don't know. They seem fine.
Yeah. I just hope that Alyssa and John are just like so normal, because they seem like they pretty could normal.
They do seem like some of the more normal of the of them.
Like, they're still weird, but they like got out and didn't want to be like a huge part of the show and the family. And
right.
That I can respect that.
They're far enough away from the family that I feel like they can have their own life a little bit better. And they do seem a little bit more normal than the other ones. I agree.
Yeah.
So finally, this episode wraps up back in Spartanburg, and they go to the Beacon, which is a little restaurant, and have a birthday party for Kelly with some of her college friends. Yeah, it was fun, and it's just kind of sad that Kelly gave up her entire life to be Fundy. Like, she had friends, she had a life, she had people that she knew and who liked her.
instead.
Yeah, and she's like, I haven't talked or I haven't kept in contact with any of these people.
Right? Like, how?
And also, I
okay.
can't imagine like an old classmate of mine who I have not kept in contact with at all, like inviting me to a party and me going to it. You know what I mean? Like,
I can't imagine, but also we're not the most extroverted people, so
that is true. That might just be a me thing.
Yeah, that might be an us thing. But yeah, I don't know. It was really like nice to see Kelly as a person who wasn't just a mom and a wife.
Yeah, definitely. It was good to see more about her life before
she became only a mom and a wife, which
right, exactly.
Again, it's depressing. You can be many things.
Exactly. It is sad. These episodes all just made me sad.
Yeah. I don't know. The whole family just makes me sad sometimes.
Yeah. The world makes me sad, but
world big time.
So let's get into this episode because this is where the real shit gets going in this episode.
I mean,
fire trucks and diaper dumps.
There's so much going on in this episode that I really need to come out in front. I need to say, I fucking hate the phrase diaper pounding. And it should not be uttered by anyone fucking ever. They say it's where it's like a baby shower, but you just get diapers because you already have stuff, which, like, reasonable. Don't fucking call it a diaper pounding.
It's a good concept, but not a good name. What is the pounding? I don't get where that comes from.
Maybe because you're getting diapers by the pound? I don't know. It just sounds bad. And they didn't even use it for the thing. They said diaper dump in the title.
Yeah, which would be a little bit better, but still gross because it makes me think of
poopy diapers.
Actual poop.
Yeah.
But yeah, like diaper pound, it just does not sound right.
Yeah.
And I've never heard of that term before this episode, so I don't think it's a widely used term.
I mean, like, most of the time, like, for second babies, like, the shower stuff is, like, called, like, a sprinkle or whatever, where they just bring,
the
like,
sprinkle.
The stuff that you always need for a fresh infant that
Which
you can't
fine.
keep.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah. Anyway, all this is to say, Kelly wants to do something special for Alyssa since she's so far away and she doesn't get to do a lot to help. So they're going to throw her this, we're not going to say
diaper pounding.
So that all starts, that's like setting the stage for this episode, is that's kind of what we're led to believe this episode's going to be about. And the plan is Kelly was going to Michael's in Chicago, and she was just going to fly straight there with Michael to Florida to do the diaper pounding. Sorry. But then, while all that's happening, while Kelly is in Chicago, there's a fire.
Oh shit!
Not in Chicago again. So there was a fire that started in the laundry room, and this episode starts with, I guess, Jeb woke Lawson up and told him that there was a fire and that they couldn't find Judson, which is terrifying.
Yeah. God, do you think they like practice fire drills and like have like a check sheet for all the children so that you know that everyone's accounted for?
No, I don't, because they didn't really seem to know what the fuck they were doing here.
That's
and
true.
I think, well, we'll get into it in a second.
Yeah.
We'll get into it. But so finally they like are scrambling. They locate Judson and he's fine, and they get everyone out of the house, and Lawson actually like does some quick thinking and like closes the door to the laundry room to make sure the flames don't, spread.
Get out, yeah.
And calls the fire department and everybody, and Gil's not there. He's on a job with Nathan, and so it's like all just kids.
Yeah, and so Kelly's in Chicago. A lot of the older boys are with Gil, and it's like, who'd they leave in charge?
Yeah, that's what I want to know too. We'll get into that in a second. But it's funny too because Zach is working and he gets a call. He's out like doing his whatever police patrol shit, and he gets a call to respond to an emergency at his parents' address. So he's like, "Oh shit, I should probably go there." And they call Gil, who comes down, and I think Nathan was like, "Oh my god, our house is burnt to the ground," which
I mean, it's helpful, but probably what
it's probably. Yeah, and I get that. Like, I'm very much a like jump to the worst possible conclusion type person, so I get that.
Then you'll be
not helpful.
Surprised when your house isn't burnt down.
Exactly, prepare for the worst, and then you're just at the worst you're ready to handle it, and then at best you're pleasantly surprised.
I thought it was kind of wild that Gil had the presence of mind to record himself for the Up TV people, for the producers.
I know.
While he's like, my house could be burning down. I don't know if my kids are all right. I just gotta pray. Help me, God. Help me, Jesus. And you're like, sir, you do not need to be recording this moment.
Yeah, I thought that was so weird too. Like, you, like, really, I think Up TV can like piece together the narrative without this.
They're there at the firehouse. You can just like go and be like, oh my God, and then that's your intro.
Right, that's your reaction.
They had to spray the whole fucking house. So the water's all the way from the upstairs through the guest bedroom all the way to the basement, which, yikes. Yeah, the fire kind of spread a lot because it was in the laundry room, and the laundry room is where they keep, it's like their family closet too. They keep all their clothes and their like linens and everything. So obviously that's perfect fuel for flame. Yeah. Of course, this whole fucking time we're thinking, oh, it must have been the dryer or something. Because that's like the most common fire is when in the dryer, tubey thing, whatever, ignites. But no.
No, it was not that. It was fucking Judd and Jeb playing with a lighter in the laundry room.
And not just a lighter. I think they actually had like a fire starter because they were talking about the sparks. So I think they were doing like lighting shit on fire.
Yeah, and they lit it on fire. And holy shit, this, like we talked about, like who was in charge if Gil and Kelly weren't here, if Lawson was asleep.
Yeah, and he wasn't home till 5 a.m. Like they knew he was asleep.
It's like, and also like this, just like,
Carly?
Y'all have too many kids. You can't keep track of them. There are two of them in the laundry room starting a fire.
Yeah,
like, that's
God.
That's Jesus.
I know.
God, but thankfully, like it was a miracle that the flames didn't spread farther because it was like a bad fire.
Yeah, that whole laundry room was like black.
It was black. Yeah. But they said that like when Lawson closed the door, that like really helped it not to spread. So
yeah, good job, Lawson. Yeah. You remembered one thing from fire safety.
Thank God.
Which he is an EMT.
Somebody did.
Isn't he?
So you would hope.
So I think all of them did some kind of fucking EMT or volunteer firefighter shit. So
right. Oh, just a clusterfuck.
Total clusterfuck. And so, of course, then we switch back to Chicago, where Kelly Jo has just found out that her house could have burned to the ground because of her two smallest children.
Yeah. And she's like, I need to go home. I need to make it home. Which, like, I get it too. Like, I want to be home too.
You need to go home and have someone watch your fucking children because you got to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Hey. Like, sorry that you had 19 of them, but yeah, they all need to be watched at all times.
Yeah, you picked these 19, like you did them. You made them happen.
Yeah.
They aren't just like foisted upon you. You didn't have octuplets.
Exactly. It was one at a time. So yeah, she's visiting Michael, but not having a good time because she's preoccupied. And then they go straight from Chicago to Florida.
Yep.
And yeah, which like, again, like I would just go home and I would be like, we're not doing this.
I would too, but at the same point in time, if they were like, hey, all of your clothes and bedding and linen and everything.
That's true.
And it's just fucked and we have to deal with the house and live in a hotel, I'd be like, well, maybe I'll stay on vacation.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like, there really isn't much she could probably do. Yeah. But at the same time, I would still just, like, need to be there to, like, be with my kids. I mean,
like, I would want to be home, but you can't be home because it was on fire. So,
not a good situation.
I think she kind of made the best out of a bad situation, seeing her kids, her older kids, and living out of a suitcase that you had planned to live out of.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because the day after the fire, like a service comes to help restore their clothes and stuff like that. But like that shit takes time. Yeah. So, yeah. But they go to Florida, and Gil actually meets them in Florida, and which I kind of like. I was thinking about this, and I was like, they left. Did they leave all their kids, like all their older kids, to watch their younger kids in these hotels? Like that's kind of shitty.
Yeah, they did, because that's what they do.
Like,
I don't know. Why don't these people have other adults who come over and watch these children? Like, I feel like
that's like, I don't know. I was like, at least one of them should be there.
Are they going to burn down the hotel next? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, for real. Jesus. Other people will get
fire starter over there.
So, yeah, they have a little get together at a park with some of Alyssa's friends to do this diaper pounding. It's really low key. And I mean, it was nice. Like, it's definitely a good like thing to do for Alyssa.
Yeah. I did like that she said a diaper pounding is more Batesified. It is not elegant. Like,
yes.
I don't think you can really make something called a diaper pounding elegant, bud.
No, not really.
Oh, no.
But yeah, Alyssa talks a little bit because Michael is there too. Michael came with Kelly. About how it's her and Michael are very close, and it's been really kind of hard to like talk with Michael about pregnancy things, baby things, because she
doesn't want to hurt her feelings,
which I get. Like that's a tough situation all around.
Yeah.
And Michael talks a little bit about how it's hard hearing new pregnancy announcements, but she's still very excited, so that's good. But yeah, it's hard. It's just a hard situation.
Yeah, I think Michael and Alyssa are the only like sane Bateses who like understand other people's feelings and how their like actions can hurt other people.
Yeah, who are like empathetic. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd hope that more of the 19 would catch on to that, but it's hard. It's a hard scale. We've learned, especially the past year and a half, has really exemplified how horrible people are at empathy.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really bad at thinking about anybody other than themselves.
It's beautiful. Beautiful. All right, we got one more episode we're going to talk about this week, and it's called Loads of Laundry and Lots of Lessons.
I wish they would have said loads of laundry and loads of lessons.
Yeah, I agree. There was a missed opportunity there.
Lots of laundry and lots of lessons. Loads of laundry and loads of lessons. But you got to keep the same word.
Yeah.
Sorry, episode 10, Namer. You fucked up.
You fucked up. We are not impressed.
Fired.
Lol. So, like, as we said in the last episode, the Bates family have to stay at a hotel for a couple of weeks because their house is badly smoke damaged.
Yeah.
And as you can imagine, living in a hotel with, like 20 people is awful.
Yeah.
They have 2 suites, but they're like on different levels.
Yeah, they have
so it's
two
like a mess.
bedroom suites, and those aren't like usually like one per floor, so they're probably just like right above each other, which is annoying.
Right. Yeah. And they talk about how, everything's hard. You can't really cook much. So there's been a lot of fast food. They can't do laundry. Well, they can do laundry, but there's only one washer and dryer. And that's not very helpful when there are 20 of them.
Yeah.
And they all don't have that much clothes because most of their clothes burnt up.
Yeah. And Lawson's like, I've got 2 pair of pants and 3 t-shirts. And I'm like, yep, that sounds about right.
Sounds right. Yeah.
God. That's such a bummer.
Yeah.
So they've been trying to teach Jeb and Judson about the gravity of playing with fire and setting shit on fire. And of course, the same day that they had their house set on fire, it was the big Gatlinburg fires, which caught everything the fuck on fire.
Yeah, I remember when that happened.
Lots of people died. It was bad.
Yeah, it was awful. And so they decide they're going to use this opportunity to teach Jed and Judd a lesson, which I do agree it's probably good for them, but I thought this whole part was very strange.
It was so weird. Mostly, I can see if they were going out and they did and looked at all the houses and the foundations and stuff, but when they brought in the family that had just lost their home,
everything that they
days
owned.
prior.
It was weird. And then they were like, yeah, our boys set a fire in our house and we're using your tragedy to give them a lesson. And it's like, okay. But they did bring them stuff, and which was nice. But it did feel weird. I totally get showing them this is how bad it could have been. Our house could have burned down. People could have died. It could have been bad. But it was definitely weird and exploitative.
Yeah, here's the zoo of the poor family that has nothing except the car and the clothes on their back.
Right. Yeah. It was this could have been us. These people could have been us. Thank God we're not these people.
Yeah.
It felt very weird.
Very weird. But, Judd and Jeb need to know not to burn down the fucking house.
No, definitely. It's clear that they needed a clearer lesson on fire safety and a clearer concept of just how bad fires can be.
Which again, they have all these siblings that work in
Yeah.
emergency response, and they can't get these kids to stop fucking setting the house on fire. I didn't
I
set the house
know.
on fire as a child. I was afraid of fire.
I was afraid of fire too. I was terrified of fire.
My dad, so when I was a kid, we went to Catholic church, and so we did the Advent wreath and everything. And we had it on the table, and it has the long candles. And my dad passed his finger through it, and he was like, "Haha, look, I can do it." He's like, "You try it." And I was like, "No, I can't do it." And then he tilted the wreath so that my finger went through the flame, and I was like, "Ah!
I'm on fire!"
It didn't hurt. Nothing happened. Like, it was obviously very fine, and it was just a little flame. But like, I was just like, "No, never again."
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. Fire still terrifies me, to be fair.
Yeah.
But fire's scary.
Fire's scary. It's reasonable to be afraid of fire.
Yeah, it's like completely unpredictable and a thing of its own, and it can spread so fast, and it can kill you very quickly, and it can hurt.
Yeah, and your hair catches on fire like nothing. Just
yeah. So, next up we check on the progress of the church building that we talked about, I think, last week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of an excuse to get out of the hotel, which, that's fair.
Yeah.
And they're doing a whole bunch of stuff, but they're mostly working on the bathrooms, which, that's a priority.
Yeah, especially if you're going to have lots of people in there. They did kind of sneak it in, I guess. One of the boys did, that he said that Gil's going to be a pastor now, so I guess he's now the leader of this church that they bought.
Yeah. Which makes a lot of sense, because I was wondering why he was so involved, but
yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. Gil doesn't strike me as a pastor type.
He does, but only to his family. Like,
yeah,
it would be weird to see him addressing like a congregation that's not just his offspring.
Yeah, that's what makes that is exactly what I mean. Like, he's like, he can be a patriarch, but I just don't think he can be like a pastor. I don't know. It seems weird.
Yeah, it is weird for sure. And then we also get to make fun of Lawson because he's really into checking out sound systems everywhere, and he was, geeking out over the sound system.
You think I can plug a guitar into this? And then we get to do the experience I've always wanted to have but never wanted to give these people any fucking money. We get to go to the Ark encounter.
Oh, God. I cannot tell you how I don't even know what to say.
So I moved here the year before the Ark encounter was finished. And so I heard a lot about it because everyone was like, why the fuck are they building a fucking Ark in the middle of Kentucky? Now I know, because we have just had floods. So apparently they're fucking right. I don't know.
Useful.
Hope that shit actually floats. But yeah, so we get to go to the Ark encounter to get out of the hotel and go on a little road trip.
Yeah. The Ark encounter, I feel like I've just spent my whole life making fun of my whole life. It's only been open for a few years.
Yeah.
Its whole life making fun of it because it's like so close to us too. It's almost like a local thing. Yeah, it's just nuts.
And so they go into the Ark encounter, and the thing that I've heard about it is that they do have like screams of people dying outside of the Ark over the stereo system, which we see because all the small children are like, why are there terrified screams? Why is the storm? Like, what's happening? Why does it sound like we are at the end of days?
Yeah, like that sounds traumatic as hell. No, thank you. I loved how just hearing them all be like, how in the world did Noah build this? And it's like, well,
nobody built it.
Yeah, he didn't. I don't even know. Honestly, it looked kind of boring to me, and that just could be me. But it looked like, why didn't they have more animals? They only had one turtle and one goat. First of all, shouldn't there be two of each?
Yeah.
Second of all, like, you would think like the whole thing with the Ark was like, not the whole thing, but like was having two of each creature. You'd think that they would have like
more
animals.
No, I mean, I'm kind of glad they don't, because I don't think they'd be very well taken care of. But like, no, they just probably have like animatronics and shit. Which the part that really got me when I first moved here and it first opened and the reviews came out, they did touch on in this that they do have the pairs of dinosaurs.
Yeah,
which is an interesting way to bring that into a young Earth theory.
Yeah. What I want to know is how all these animals like were in an Ark and didn't kill each other.
Well, and then the other thing is like, if they do it today, 2x2, you're going to have the problem that Noah would have had, that some of these animals will procreate, and some of them have
and
short gestational periods, so you'll have like 50 goats in a few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't really seem like a very realistic story to me.
Not really.
Sorry. I mean, don't buy it.
It's second to like Jonah and the whale.
Yeah.
On realism, but even that, like that dude somewhere got sucked in by a whale and shot out again recently here.
Guess it's possible.
So maybe this is the most crazy one.
Yeah. I don't know. I loved that Gil was taking pictures of all of the information signs on his phone so he could read them later. It's such a dad thing to do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely that guy, too. Because I just want to look at all the stuff, but then I'm like, oh, I want to know about it later.
Yeah, exactly.
Spoiler alert, I never look at them again.
Yeah. It was a lot. The arc.
It was.
It looks scary. Like, it looks threatening from the outside, and I don't like it.
If my neighbors started building that shit, I too would be like, fuck you, Noah. Like, I don't want to be your friend.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
I don't actually know this for a fact, and this might have changed, but I think my grandma went to this because, of course, she did. And I've heard that the parking situation is, like, truly despicable.
I think I've heard that too, and also that it's very expensive. Yeah, it's $50 a person.
Jesus.
Oh.
That's so much.
That's just for general admission. So if you want to get into the museum, it's $80.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm sure that the Bates didn't have to pay. They probably got in for free, for publicity. Because otherwise, how much would they have spent?
I don't even know. So much. God, the annual pass is $500. Why would you want to go more than once?
That's the real question. Like, what is there to keep seeing and doing?
I can see going once, like, out of curiosity.
Yeah, whatever. Sure. I wouldn't, but I can get it if somebody else wants to. But, yeah, to go back and, like...
You're like, this was a fun family experience to go walk around an ark and press some buttons.
It's really fun to hear these people crying as they die while we walk into this ark.
Yeah, right? Fucked up. It's fucked up, man.
It is. Yeah. I don't know. The only other part of this episode is they kind of go back to the house a little bit and check on the condition of things, and things are still fucked up and it still smells like smoke. And they basically have to like re-sheetrock and re-floor and repaint the whole laundry room area to get rid of the smoke smell. So it's like gonna be a while. It's kind of a mess.
Hot mess. Yeah, the house does not look great. I don't like it.
I don't like it. They probably don't like it either.
No. Well, then maybe I like it.
But yeah, exactly. Maybe, I mean, not that it's like, at least thankfully nobody got hurt, but it is kind of like, yeah, you really need to be watching your kids and like making sure they're not out with a fire starter.
Yeah. And maybe put those in like a locked area.
Yeah, like why was that accessible to this child? Come on now. I don't know. It was crazy. I was fully not expecting this when I watched these episodes. I was not expecting a giant fire to be part of it, but here we are.
I was not ready, but I got through it.
We did. We got through it. But yeah, I think that about wraps us up for this week. But if you have anything to say about this episode or any of our other episodes, or if you have anything to suggest for us to watch in the future, you can send us an email at tvliterate@gmail.com.
And you can find us all over the internet on Instagram, Reddit, Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere at TV Literate. And we also have a Ko-fi account, ko-fi.com/TV Literate, if you want to pitch us $1 or $2 to help us with our monthly hosting fees. We're not looking to get rich, but we do love you guys. And hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And if you have time and can leave us a review, that would be really great and helpful. And spread the word. Let anyone else know who might be interested in trashing on fundies and other trash TV. Let them know about our podcast, because we would love to have even more of you.
Yeah.
Yes. And we will be back next week with another episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.